Hi, and welcome to the Bible Tribe. Word of the day. I'm Denise Pass with Seeing Deep Ministries, where we see deep in a shallow world and overcome the battles of the mind with the Word of God. Pride is esteemed by our culture, but not by God. God is able to humble all who are prideful. Reading today in the book of Obadiah, and the verse of the day is Obadiah 1 verse 3. The arrogance of your heart has deceived you, you who live in the clefts of the rock, and the loftiness of your dwelling place, who say in your heart, who will bring me down to earth? Word of the day is arrogance. It is the Hebrew word zaw-done. The Dictionary of Biblical Languages with Semantic Domains says it means pride, arrogance, insolence. The concept of an inflated view of oneself, self-willed and not humble. It means presumptuous, haughtiness. The book of Obadiah opens up with the vision of the prophet Obadiah pronouncing judgment against Israel's brother, Edom, which, if you recall, Esau, the twin of Jacob, is the father of the Edomites. According to the Enduring Word Commentary, the Hebrew name Obadiah means worshiper of Yahweh, or servant of Yahweh. There are 13 Obadiahs in the Old Testament, and one of these may be the Obadiah who wrote this book. Unique to Obadiah is that he is dealing primarily with Edom, not Israel or Judah. God's judgment was for the pride that Edom had, which had deceived them. But we also catch a glimpse of the reason for the judgment in verses 10 through 14. Violence against Jacob, which represents Israel. Edom also laughed at Judah and Israel's calamity. Edom and Israel had the same common ancestor, Isaac. But we might find some roots underlying the contention between the two nations. Jacob wanted Edom's birthright, and perhaps those struggles were still being played out generations later. In God's judgment against Edom, he will ultimately use Israel to punish Edom. The theme of reaping and sowing and God's retribution for the enemies of his people is evident in this single chapter book of the Bible. Obadiah 1:15 says, "The day of the Lord is near for all nations. As you have done, it will be done to you. Your deeds will return upon your own head." Are there areas of your life where you are prideful? Pride is self-worship. It is placing confidence in our own thoughts above God's. Pride is offensive because it is an indicator that man thinks he is enough. Self-righteousness, self-sufficiency, and pride blinds man from seeing his need of God. GotQuestions.com says that Psalm 10 verse 4 explains that the proud are so consumed with themselves that their thoughts are far from God. In his pride, the wicked does not seek him. In all his thoughts, there is no room for God. Ask God to show you where pride might be blocking your understanding of God and keeping you away from Jesus. Go with God in his precious word, friends. Join us tomorrow in the book of Psalms.